Okay, here we go again.
All right, mate, we're back. Part 2 of BMA episode 1.
See how we can mess this one up.
So, what do you think of myself?
I like it. The plant makes it. I was ready to walk.
Well, yeah, that's straight out my bathroom, so...
I like it. Does Leanne know?
She don't know it's missing yet. I bet she wouldn't even recognise it. Anyway, it's a bit dusty, actually. She should probably clean it.
I think we should keep it. Every
Well, it's
time
not
you go
going
home,
now.
bring something else. It's got a real rig. Looks like a car boot sale on here.
What's doing the curtains as well?
I like them. They've had like an initiation period as well. In 5 minutes up.
Yeah, I did try and keep them as clean as I possibly could, but they ended up on the floor last night.
Yes, you had that
After the sparring session.
bit of a Tasmanian devil roll straight into it.
Yes, so... you ready to talk some nonsense again?
Yes.
Well, not nonsense. We're going to talk about jiu-jitsu and some other bits and bobs.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can fluff
first
it
of
with
all-
nonsense.
say again.
I can fluff it up with nonsense.
Well, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
That's the main reason. I mean, I could do this on my own, really.
The nonsense
Just talk about
factor.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, for those that didn't know last time, if I didn't introduce you properly, obviously you're Aaron Kirk. I don't know if you said that previously. You're a brown belt under my good self. You're actually the highest rank in the gym other than myself.
You sound
so in terms of-
surprised.
well, I was surprised because, to be honest with you, when I first started the gym, it was all kind of planned out as to who was going to be black belts first and everything else. And you just seem to come from nowhere.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because, I mean, I'd imagine that the people that you had in line that you thought were going to take the belts first and stuff like that, we're all adults and life kind of gets in the way, doesn't it? And things happen and all of a sudden training becomes a bit more sparse and things like that. And you just couldn't get rid of me, I suppose. So
Well, yeah,
I broke you down. Broke you down to get it.
It wasn't even based on your skill set that you got your brown belt.
No.
Just because you're here all the time.
Persistency,
Yeah, exactly.
Time served.
Okay, so this is how I'm going to start this off. We're going to do the quick fire round that we didn't get to do last time.
Oh,
well, we
okay.
did do it last time, but obviously it didn't record, and
materialise. I
so
don't
nobody
remember
else
the
got
questions.
got to hear it. So we'll see if your answers match the
Oh,
same
okay.
answers that you had last time.
Okay,
You ready?
let's go.
Okay. Gi or no gi?
Gi.
Hair or no hair?
No hair all day.
Speed or strength?
Strength. I've got no choice. I've got old man strength. I can't get old man speed.
Experience or youth?
Oh, Jesus. Youth's wasted on the young. And I'd say experience. I've got to go with that.
I mean, it's all you got, right?
It's, again, all I've got. Yeah.
Well, say that you said strength on the last one. So that's
I
not
had
true.
neither, so... Yeah.
Okay, Phil or Grant Mitchell?
Grant.
Your favourite training partner at BMA?
It's always been Baz, but because I'm lazy, I quite like going with Guy.
In the corner of the room as well.
In the corner of the
Out of the
room,
way.
just out the way. It don't take a lot of effort. I can do as many filthy things as I like while talking trash to him about his wife, I suppose.
Red card offence.
Red card.
Favourite submission?
Kimura or wrist lock.
Favourite position in jiu-jitsu?
Half guard. Half guard in both. Half guard, yeah.
Worst injury that you've had?
Oh, meniscus. Back of the knee when I was rolling with Baz.
What food do you eat before training?
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. Honestly, I don't really get a meal in, so I'll have breakfast and I'll have lunch at work, and then I won't eat again till about 9:30 when I get home, and I know that's not a great regime.
So you're full of energy then when you train?
No, God, no, I'm a zombie. But I have been trying to get in little snacks on the way, like, but it is always something junk, so I try to have it good junk, like a flapjack or something like that. Yeah, I'm terrible for that.
Where am I? Best non-swearing insult?
Oh, God. Last time it was melt, but I heard someone get called a sausage today, and that,
Yes.
that tickled me as well.
Do you know what yours was before that you didn't say last time or this time?
No.
Bell sprout.
Bell sprout. Bell sprout. I use that a lot as well. And bell sweat.
I don't know if you do use that a lot.
Yeah, I do at work.
But we found it off that Reddit forum, remember?
Yes.
That's why I was thinking about it.
It wasn't a Reddit forum. It was reviews on a gym.
Oh, yeah.
And there were commenting.
And then I think we did the podcast about a week later, and that's why I thought that was going to pop up, because I know you enjoyed that one. I'm the person that it was aimed at as well.
On a Google review, seriously.
This is supposed to be quick fire, by the way.
That's okay.
Who would play you in a biopic on your life?
Oh, I think I said Jason Statham, but I mean, my fitness at the minute would probably be someone like Danny DeVito. Said Statham because of the hair.
Yeah. To be fair, me and you could play the twins pretty well then, couldn't we? The twins film.
I'd
be Arnie. Arnie would play me.
Yeah.
And Danny DeVito could play you.
At the minute, I can't argue with that. But,
at the minute?
I'm so out of shape at the minute. Normally, I'm a lot better than I am, but...
I can't wait to get some more in-shape people on. Best thing about learning jiu-jitsu?
Confidence, and I know it's quick fire, but and also the people that you meet. I said on the last one that you get to meet a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life that I'd never have not anything to do with in terms of like this, but I'd never bump into them. We'd never cross paths, so I quite like that as well.
Yeah. The best thing about BMA in general?
Me.
You said that last time as well.
Did I?
Yeah.
Consistency. No, I think it's the feeling of the gym. You've always got a good feeling. I was very welcome when I first came down here. You very quickly get hooked to it. Every class seemed like a seminar as well. That was one of the things that got me, where it was, instead of, right, today we're learning an arm bar and that's it, next week we're probably going to do a heel hook or a straight ankle lock. It wasn't here. I really liked that it was constructed in a certain way where this is an arm bar, this is how they're going to escape from it, so this is where we go next. And every class was like a mini seminar, and it felt great.
Sorry, someone's just trying to ring me then. It's actually Zoeb. It's probably going to be about the kids class tomorrow.
He obviously knew I didn't say he was my favourite training part of the year.
Yeah. He's listening live.
Is this the phone-in part?
Yeah, it could have been as well. Okay, I added this one on. We didn't have this last time, but I thought I'll add it on. Mm-hmm. If you could change lives with any other member of BMA, who would it be?
Brad.
Why?
Because he's literally got everything. He's got the world at his feet. He could have such a good MMA career. His jiu-jitsu record's off the charts, and he's just got so much youth. So, yeah, I'm envious of Brad.
Yeah, that's a good shout, to be fair.
What would you have said?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with Brad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not anyone else who comes to the sessions who's not a kid, who's as young as him and
well, the thing is,
able-bodied, as fit, as knowledgeable about martial arts as he is.
As good at competing.
Yeah. Good looking.
He's got it all, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got his
I don't
life
like
ahead of him.
Don't like him.
Let's hope he don't mess it up, eh? He's got his whole life ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. He's got a trip coming up to Thailand, and
well, yeah.
Let's
see if he comes back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, out your mouth. Then see if he comes back.
Yeah, precisely. But it's got to be Brad. I mean, people have achieved good things in other areas and stuff like that. Obviously, you've hit quite good heights in jiu-jitsu. So on a jiu-jitsu level, it'd be yourself. But I just think Brad's got so much untapped potential that the world's his oyster almost, isn't it?
100%. It's quite an envious position for us to hold looking down.
Yeah, well, I didn't get into it till quite late, and even Brad didn't get into it quite late, but my God, he hit the ground running, didn't he? He was picking it up so fast, and just to watch him roll is quite impressive.
I think he was 16 when he started.
Oh, was he? I remember him coming down with one of his friends.
Yeah, so he's only had 6 years, that's it really, and he's obviously very good level.
Yeah, but he was coachable, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's the important thing. I can't remember if we talked about that last time as well, but it's actually one of the topics I'll talk about on another podcast that we'll do.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk too vaguely on different topics, just in case things get boring when we bring them up.
Yeah, bring them up
as a full-blown conversation. Okay, so you didn't come here as a white belt. You did not do your first session under me anyway.
No, I didn't.
Jiu-Jitsu as a white belt. So you came from another gym and you came to me as a blue belt.
Yes.
So how was that? How was that to switch from one gym to another?
Daunting at the time, but I was in a place with, I don't know whether I got the blue belt syndrome, you know, where it's, you're like, it's took me this long to get to blue belt. And you do feel like you've plateaued a little bit. And I was getting fed up down where I was training with the fact that people were coming from other gyms, even the white belts with a few stripes, and they were giving the blue belts a torrid time. And I just thought, this is a really good gym. And then you'd go to competition and you'd see the same sort of thing. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, I need to try somewhere else or see, or I'm just done with it. Loved training where I was at TCA. They're a great bunch of guys, and I'm still in contact with all of them. And you know, a lot of them have progressed up to brown belt level now. But I got to a place where I really wanted to see what these other guys were learning. These guys that were coming down and at the time was smashing everybody to pieces. And I thought, well, I want to go and train with these guys, you know, and be with these guys every single day. But they were a bit further afield, so I wrote down a list of numbers to call, and I called yourself. I was actually wiring some electric gates up in BB, and I called yourself, and you asked me down, invited me down to have the free session, and it was odd numbers, so I was sitting out, and then you jumped in and said, do you want to spar, and beat me up, so I signed up. And that's it. I thought, okay, no,
take your regular beatings every week.
Take my regular beatings, yeah. They get.
This will help you to get towards brown belt.
Yeah, exactly that. It does help, and I just think not a rite of passage, but everyone goes through it. You yourself must have gone through it as a black belt. You never started as a black belt, so at some stage you were the nail.
100%, definitely been in the nail a few times.
And it's daunting as well, coming down as a blue belt, and most of your guys at the time were white belts. But I wasn't as good as them. They were giving me a real hard time. So I think you have to almost blank the belt out. I think this at any level anyway. Blank the belt out and just go down and try and acquire skills. Just learn as much as you can, and that's it.
Yeah. So switching gyms then, would you say that makes you a Creonte?
Yes. But no at the same time. You know.
So just to make sure for anyone listening who doesn't know what a Creonte is, it's the Portuguese term for traitor.
I was labelled a traitor for a while, yeah.
Which, to be fair to you, in my eyes, you've obviously done your bit there. You trained at both gyms for a certain period of time. Yeah. I don't know how much you're going there at the minute, actually, but I mean, you're here all the time.
Months, no.
And so I wouldn't really label you as a Creonte, to be fair.
When I first left, probably for a while, but a loyal traitor.
Yeah, a loyal traitor. But there is some people that obviously just train anywhere and everywhere. And the thing is, like going back years, I can remember when people first started doing it, people started to get on this bandwagon of, well, you should be allowed to train at other places, and we're not all just like a GB basically, where it's frowned upon to go anywhere else. And people started to embrace it, and more people were training at different places. And I've always had the approach that I'm happy for people to train anywhere, really. I mean, I don't have any hold on anybody. So people are more than welcome to come and train with me and train elsewhere. But what I will say is there's a balance with it as well. Yeah. Because it's all right saying, well, you know, you should be allowed to go and train wherever you want. But if you're dipping in and out of a place like once or twice a month, or when you've got a competition coming in to use that gym just for the bodies there and then going back somewhere else, you're never going to make progress with that coach. Yeah. And that's my outtake on it as well. So I
don't think it's a massive advantage. I don't think it's any advantage at all. In fact, I think it's a bit of a disadvantage. We all know people that have bounced around, you know, most of the gyms around Leicester and even further afield. And no one knows you better than your own coach if you spend any kind of time there. So the sheer fact that I'll do something with you, say we have a private or a one-to-one, or we just have a chat for an hour, and I'll say, oh, I've been working this, and you'll say, oh, try this. I'll try it, and then I can go to you the next week and I'll be like, oh yeah, but I'm still getting stuck in X, Y, or Z. And then you'll say, okay, yeah, but now you need to add this. And that's having a coach that you can go to. If you're jumping in a gym here, jumping in a gym there, and they're never going to take you seriously or put the time. Why would you put a lot of time and effort into that particular person, knowing full well they're just going to be at a different gym the next week, picking somebody else's brain?
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. But I think, like I said, you've got to find a balance. So I think it's okay if you're putting time into both gyms or multiple gyms, if you're at 2 or 3 gyms. Like obviously a lot of MMA guys would do boxing one place. Yeah. Well, any type of striking one place, jiu-jitsu one place, maybe wrestling another place. And so all the coaches are kind of in tune as to what it is that you need from them. And so you're getting that variation that you need, but all the coaches are kind of with you on that journey. I think sometimes with jiu-jitsu, when you're dipping in and out of different gyms, if you are, like we just said, only going one place a couple of times, then you're just not going to get much back from that coach. No. Like, I don't care who they are or what they say. You know, I'll always say that I'm happy for people to train other places. But if you're only coming to mine like once every now and then I'm just not going to put a lot of time into you. No, it's the guys that are coming regularly that I will. But there's also guys that come regular that are training elsewhere as well. Yeah. So that doesn't make a difference to me. No. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to be in my gym long enough, not only that I can put time into you, but also that it's fair on the guys that are coming here all the time, that when they're competing, that you're the body there for them to train with as well. You can't just dip in. You know, if you've got a competition, you want to get some extra sessions in here and use the bodies here and then disappear, and then they don't get to have you there for training. It's just being a bad training partner, basically. It's so forget all the Creonte stuff. Just being a bad training partner.
It is. And the MMA thing is different as well. You know, you've got a boxing coach, you've got a Thai coach, you've got a jiu-jitsu coach, whatever. But they're all different disciplines. When it's the same discipline, I mean, say you had 3 or 4 coaches for one boxer, for example, and they're all telling them different things, it's just not going to work, is it? But then I'm not saying that training at different gyms is bad, because I quite like a seminar. You know, to get a different perspective on things every now and again is great, you know, to get guys in. And we get guys down here occasionally, and we've travelled for a few, haven't we, down up in Birmingham and whatnot. And they're brilliant. You always come back with little snippets of knowledge that you can put into your game, which is amazing. But I think that's the way. You try to stay loyal to your gym and your core gym, and you trust in your coach and where he's taking you, because they see you every day and they can put the time into you and see not only yourself personally, but the gym on a whole level. And it's like, you know, these guys are lacking in wrestling or leg locks or whatever, and the coach will take you in that direction. You can pick and choose your seminars yourself, but jumping in and out of other gyms, you're just going to pick up the back end of one of their classes, or, you know, the finer details of a Kimura or something like that. Then you disappear again and you're doing something else. I just don't think it's the way to go. I think if you want to progress as fast as possible, you need to put as much effort into learning and pick your coach's brains.
As you do. I was picking my brain.
As I do, yeah. Test your
Not
patience.
much in there other than jiu-jitsu, to be honest.
Picked it to death, yeah.
So, how old are you now?
43. I know, look about 28, didn't I?
Years older than that.
43, yes. So,
how you joined? How you finding being over 40 doing jiu-jitsu? That's the question that I'm getting to.
Difficult, and I know I don't take the correct precautions to look after myself properly, because everything's a bit of a rush. When you are 43 and you have got a full-time job and it is in construction, everything hurts anyway. My knees give me a lot of trouble, and just recently my shoulders give me a lot of trouble. I don't know whether that's being an electrician. You know, you're constantly above your head. But I'm trying not to use it as an excuse not to train. I'm trying to work other areas, or not have an ego when someone drags me about a bit, rather than fight through the pain, just tap and then move on and go to a different position, or try to steer it in a different position. It is more difficult. I am trying to be a bit smarter with the sparring, especially on the Thursdays and the Tuesdays when it is a better sparring class. I try and sit a couple out here and there, then jump back in. But sometimes it's not that easy when you go cold and then jump back in. Everything hurts a little bit more. But rather than power through the full hour of open mat sparring, and then feel it the next day. I'd rather pick and choose, get some choice rounds in, quality rounds, and then live to fight another day, so to speak.
Yeah, I'd say my approach is kind of similar to that. Like, obviously, because I'm teaching the class, I don't always get the full warm-up when I jump in on a sparring session. So for that, out of that hour, I probably am at least 5 minutes, if not 10 minutes late to the rolling through stretching and warm or talking to people on the side or whatever. You know, people have got issues at the end of the first class or whatever. So by the time I'm on and I'm sparring, it's probably 10 minutes in. But then I like to just, once I'm warm and going and the engine's running,
carry on.
Yeah, I just like to crack on. I like to get the miles on the clock then. So then I'll probably stop towards the end. I don't know, like again, 10 minutes towards the end so I can warm down again. Because usually what will happen if I finish on the hour, again, we're trying to clean the mat, someone's talking to me, then it gets late and I haven't stretched and I just go home and just getting into the car and then seizing up and getting out
physically
of the
hurts,
car on the
it?
drive is hard work. So I have to warm up, I have to warm down. But that middle period for me when I'm going, I just think, well, if I'm going to, you know, hit a decent level, now's the time. So I'll do it then, and then I won't go back in again.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So it won't get to a stage for me where I've had a couple of hard rounds. If I sit one out, I'm probably thinking about ending the night for me.
I must admit that's when it's most painful, when I sit one out, especially when it's boiling hot in here, you're sweating. It's been some major tough. I mean, I normally go with you pretty early on anyway, so I've got to sweat on real quick. But then if I sit out for 5 minutes, you go cold and all the rest of it. You go cold because you're wet, you're sweaty, and then you jump back in. That's generally when it hurts. Yeah. And then I'll try and pull a guard and survive for a bit and get a bit of a smash and grab sub on. But there's no enjoyment in that. It's just rolling for the sake of rolling. And people do gun for you a little bit, and the younger ones can still go at 100 mile an hour and
depressing, ain't it?
Oh, it is. It's not fun at all.
But you just have to take your wins while you can. So I'll keep whooping Brad until he's bigger and more experienced than me, and then that's when I'll probably quit.
Or bar him from the gym.
Then he can be a Creonte and go somewhere else.
He can piss off.
You taking any supplements?
Do I? No, nothing.
Just the Mackie D's?
Nothing at all, yeah, just McDonald's mainly, yeah. All them fats.
I have cod liver oil and glucosamine actually for my joints.
These things are stuff that I've always looked into and I've started but never seen anything through.
I've been on and off for years. And then obviously with the cod liver oil, there's a lot of benefits to that anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously for your hair, nails.
That didn't work out great, did it?
I ain't really got good nails either. But there's loads of benefits to it. And so I take cod liver oil all the time anyway. But the glucosamine I've always been on and off with. And I always like to... I know there's science behind everything, but for me, it's all about how I feel. And I know that a placebo will play a certain effect as well. Yeah. But yeah, years and years I've took glucosamine ever since my knees started being bad. And then the periods where I think, okay, let's see if I can go without it. And then I feel okay. And then maybe my knees get a bit bad, 5-6 months later, and I start taking it again. But now,
do you find it helps, or do you think it's placebo?
Well, that's the thing. It's really hard to tell. I mean, at the minute, I've been taking it for... consistently now for at least the last 12 months.
Yeah.
My knees have been pretty good, to be fair. But what I will say, like you said about managing your body better at our age, I'm looking at longevity now. I've got kids now, so I don't want to be just wrecking my body and then not being able to play with my young kids. So, I just need to make sure that I can keep going. So I take the glucosamine, like I say, 12 months regular, and as long as it's doing something to help me, that's the main thing. I'll keep taking it. It's not massively expensive.
Multivitamin or something like that. I mean, you've got to give your body half a chance, haven't you? Wasn't it? Was it Bernard Hopkins that fought well into his 40s? And I think Ranj was telling me the other day how he was saying, every year past your 40s is like aging 3 years when you're in your 20s, which would make sense. And he never ate chocolate or any of that business, and that's why he carried on and prolonged his career. But
that's one of the things I've added in a lot as I've got older, is less sugar.
I thought you were going to say chocolate.
Nah, can't you? Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, me too. It's that black belt mentality.
Man, I try and cut out as much sugar as possible because of the inflammation it causes.
Yeah,
but I still do have some. But I cut it out as much as possible from my diet.
That's my main thing. sugar. After I've eaten anything, even if it's a real solid, healthy meal, I always crave something sweet straight after. And that's a massive downfall.
Well, I tell you what I try and do for that is replace it with other things. So I'm really into fruit at the minute. I'm eating a lot of fruit. And I eat a lot of dates, which I know are really high in sugar anyway, but...
Yeah, but it's a different sugar, yeah?
Yeah, but I don't eat too many. Obviously, if you smash loads of them, then it's probably not going to be great for you anyway. But
yeah, but if it stops the craving, then it's done its
this
job.
Is the thing. I could have a couple of dates and they're really sweet, and that will stop me thinking about sugar.
Yeah.
Sometimes just having yogurts and stuff like that can be enough just to kind of switch me off from... Because sometimes when you've eaten, say, like a meal that's like meaty and carby, I guess, really, and then, like you say, you feel like you want a little bit of something sweet, or even just want to be a little bit naughty after a clean meal. I think it just gets you over the line.
Who do you reckon would be the worst eating habits at BMA? Apart from me.
Okay, apart from you. Ooh, good question.
Like a slob.
I can't get away from Guy Jolly. Now
I was going to say
slob. But I don't know if it's just because you mentioned him earlier and he's fresh in my
So when
mind.
I said slob, you jumped to Guy.
I thought you said slug.
And you jumped to Guy.
Nah, I knew you said slob.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, I bet he's up there. I bet Brad's up there as well. I bet Brad eats some crap.
Oh, it's sickening, isn't it?
I bet he does, and then his metabolism just takes care of it.
Yeah.
So,
Although little Aaron, do you think he eats crap?
yeah, he's probably up there as well, actually.
But his metabolism doesn't get rid of it.
Do you reckon?
Not like Brad's, that's for sure.
Not quite got the same body, has he?
No, Brad's built different.
Bless him.
But yeah, Guy.
Hear me?
I can, yeah.
How you finding the headphones?
All right, actually.
Felt weird, innit?
Yeah, it felt it
My
at
ears
first.
sweat a bit. I mean, my ears like get hot anyway from all the damage. The cauliflower ear, like my left ear.
I've only got a bit of swelling in the top of my ear, but it's nothing.
Yeah, mine just get warm. Like as soon as the temperature changes the room, my ears get warm, and they're getting pretty hot now with these headphones.
Your
on.
ears are burning because we're slagging you off. That's what
Zoe was trying to ring me earlier.
yeah, that's what it is.
God never answers his phone. Busy, mate. Anyway, we've got a competition coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Well, not even a couple of weeks.
No.
Next weekend. No.
Not
Yeah,
this
next
weekend,
weekend.
coming, the weekend after.
next weekend. So, yeah, what's the competition? Leicester Open, isn't it?
Leicester Open, yeah. It's
So
the
we've got a
first,
big team
first
doing
one
that.
that they've done.
I believe we've got 30 entries in terms of like people doing multiple divisions.
Okay.
So I think we must have about 20 people entering altogether. But I'm going to double check that in a minute.
Christ, is that right?
I think so. I'm going to do my Jamie bit now and bring it up.
Yeah, check that out, Jamie.
But
Is
yeah,
that including kids as well, or is there no kids divisions?
I think we've just got Santi, who's the youngest one, doing it.
Okay.
I don't think there's any other kids signed up. But yeah, I was going to ask you, who are you most excited to see?
You know
to see
what?
perform, to see compete?
So 2 or 3 people. Unfortunately, one of them's injured. I was really looking forward to seeing Sol. I don't know about you, but
Yeah,
since
100%.
that guy started, he's got more and more difficult to deal with. And I just think his levels... I've always said this, but when you first start jiu-jitsu, your progression's really, really fast. And then you get to a certain point and it's little sections at a time. But I was really excited to see Sol. Unfortunately, he's injured. So I'm excited to see Kyle, because I think he's leveled up massively, and I'm excited to see Joe. I think he's a great new asset to the team,
Yeah, Joe's in there
and
as well.
he's a really technical role. So yeah, I'm excited. I was excited to see them 3. Probably now Kyle and Joe, I'm most excited to see.
18, 19, 20, 21.
21.
Yeah, 21
21
people.
across 30.
So sorry, who's your 3 again? While I was just doing that. So
Well,
Sol,
it was going to be
Joe,
Sol, Joe, and Kyle.
and Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've all since it's come around this year and it's turning into like a bit of a competition season. I think they've put the most effort in. I really do. And unfortunately for Sol, he won't be there now. But yeah, I'd say Kyle and Joe.
Yeah. What about we've got Big Joe on there as well?
Oh, Big Joe, yeah.
Big Joe Benedict's
Yeah,
on it.
I've said this so many times, and we've had conversations about Big Joe a lot of times. I think his potential again is insane.
He's not that consistent trainer though. That's
No,
what I will say
I
about
know.
him.
Sometimes he vanishes. I don't know whether he goes back to his football roots or anything like that, or what he's got going on. But he does go off the scene a little bit. But my God, yeah, when he puts some consistency in, I always think he's an absolute pain to deal with.
Yeah, he's a little bit like a bigger version of Brad, don't you think?
Yes.
Even the way they look, actually.
Yeah. The mannerisms and everything. But
yeah, and I think they're a similar age, right?
I don't know how old Joe is. I know he's an absolute handful. He's. I'd have liked to have seen Harry back on it. Now he's back training as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the minute he's obviously doing what he can.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But he's
how
not
that develops.
He's not lost a lot, as he is. He's still pretty mobile and strong.
Yeah, he seems
and all
to be
the
a
rest of
handful
it.
for the guys. So
Yeah.
I think there's a few old schoolers. Gaetano's in there.
Yeah.
JD's in there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what you're getting with those guys as well, don't you?
Wayne's in there. Obviously, Wayne's competed just the other week as well, so he's going to be looking for redemption.
Wayne's looking really sharp. He's looking really sharp, and he just seems to get faster and more athletic the older he gets. And he's got like 5 years on me. And my God, his fitness and his speed, he runs the ring around me in that division. Yeah. It's insane.
Scary, isn't it?
It is. He's doing really well. And yeah, another one I'm excited to see, if I'm honest. Is he doing gi and no gi, or just gi?
Good question. Just gi by the looks of it.
Just gi, okay.
It's a strange split, to be honest. You've got Wayne just doing gi, Sims just doing no gi. We've got some new people in the mix as well. So Lee Sketchley is in there. He's doing both divisions.
Oh, fair play.
Taron's in there as well.
Yeah.
He's been getting on well lately. Ben.
Yeah.
Shout out to the ladies, Mandy.
Yeah.
So she did her first competition roll.
Oh,
on,
okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
You weren't here on Tuesday.
No, I wasn't here on Tuesday.
Yeah,
What
so
you
her
did
and
comp
Jess did
comp
a
round
comp
for
round.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get on? Okay.
Did well. Scored some points. Got a submission.
Excellent.
Yeah, looked like she knew what she was doing.
Is Jess competing? Or
Jess is
Charlotte?
not competing. Charlie's in there as well.
Excellent.
But I don't think either of the girls have got matches lined up at the minute. So we'll see what they do in terms of jigging the divisions around.
Yeah. Obviously, JD's always a pleasure to watch as well. Again, you know what you're going to get is he's good in competition. Gets in the zone, and JD does what JD does, doesn't he? But
I'll tell you, we've not mentioned yet. Who could be a standout, maybe?
Go on then.
A surprise package. Chi,
yes. You know what as well? I love rolling with Chi. I couldn't pick him above Baz or anything like that because I don't very often drill with him where I do the other guys. But he's a handful. I can't remember what I was doing to him the other day, and he swept me real quick, and then all of a sudden I heard you cheering. It's like, good God. But yeah, he's again, he's one of these that flies under the radar, turns up, does his time, goes home. Okay, he's quiet when he's down here. He's not so quiet in the group chats.
Yeah,
but
I literally said that to him the other day. He's forever just like bombarding everyone with his text messages in the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
And then when he's down here, he barely says anything.
Yeah, he's quiet again. Yeah. Although I think I was talking to you, and he pounced on my back, and some tried to sink in like a rear naked choke as well. So he's getting a bit sneaky as well.
Yeah, he's definitely become a slime ball since training there for sure.
He is a slime ball.
If not one of the lead ones, he's sneaky with it as well. Do you know what I mean? A bit like Brad. Everyone thinks butt wouldn't melt with Brad. And I think Chi's similar to that, just like an older version.
Yeah, but Chi's on a different IQ level to us. So I think sometimes Chi's mocking us and we don't even know.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You just got to stay angry with him till you can Google what he's said to work out if it was an insult or a compliment.
Got to go home, go sleep, let it digest.
Yeah.
Then give him a text the next morning.
Yeah, that's it. Or
responds.
Catch up with him on a Wednesday and try and choke him for it. But yeah, he's tough to catch things on. He's yeah. Okay, I'm excited to see them all. I do like going and watching them all compete. I like going and watching them all compete when they've put the effort in, and I've seen them put the effort in down here. It's a pleasure to be in the corner. Whether the win, lose or draw, you'd like to see them obviously realise the potential or perform to the degree that you've seen them perform down here, but it doesn't always work out like that in competition. Yeah. But I'm not the coach, but I still enjoy them going out there and trying to put it together. And if it doesn't work out, who cares? At that stage, they might care, but I don't. If they've tried the things that they've been drilling up here and something hasn't worked out, it's probably something so marginal that it's like, you know what, you're just missing an underhook, or you keep coming up without the underhook, or you're doing this or you're doing that. And then they could go back and have a complete different time of it. So
yeah, what I will say is after this competition's out of the way, there's going to be a lot of people getting graded, I think. Not just the people that are competing, but there's a few people that I've had in mind over the last couple of weeks, because since we've started doing the training, and we started training quite early for this competition, it was back end of last year. So I think halfway through November, we said we're going to target this competition, we're going to start training for it.
Yeah.
We had a good run up to Christmas. Everyone obviously had some time off for Christmas. When we came back in January, everyone was, super fit still and up for it. A couple of guys have done some competitions like to get ready for this competition as well. And I think the levels shot right up.
I was saying that earlier today, that I feel the level of the gym's gone up. And I don't know whether that's because everyone's sort of sharpening up for the competition, or because it just has leveled up in general. Everyone's getting that bit more tougher, with some of the things that have been added. They're so much more difficult to submit, but I think people are fighting a little bit harder, just sharpening themselves. But yeah, the level that the gym has raised.
Yeah, I mean the level is always going to go up, just because people are coming consistently, improving, learning new things. Yeah. But I think the competition class has made a big difference. I think that people now understand where you need to be to compete.
Yeah.
In terms of like your output. Like you can't just come down here and, sometimes you get away on a sparring night where you're just flopping around on the floor and you're trying some things out and there's no real direction to your game.
Yeah.
I think people know now that when we do those Saturday morning sessions, we work hard. It's a short period of time. You go out, you give your 100%, and you've got direction in what you're doing. Like you're aggressive with your strategy and your A game. You're in, you're out, and that's it. There's no kind of messing around. There's no, like, everything's efficient now. Do you know what I mean? It's not like turning up on an evening training session and, like I say, you're doing a bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's super efficient. Competition is, everything's kind of like narrowed down. It's best moves only. Yeah. And the hardest rate or output that you can do as well.
That's good. I mean, not everyone. I mean, it isn't a private class, but it's a class. Right, this is a competition class. If you want to get good at competing, or you want to get your stamina up for competing, or sharpen everything and just refine things, because you can cut a lot of fat out of jiu-jitsu, can't you? There's a lot of flair moves that is going to be a bit of a waste of time in competition, and you can go and try it out on a Saturday. This isn't going to work for me. I'm going to bin that off. I keep getting caught every time I go for that. Well, don't use that then. And these guys now that have got the competition coming up, if they've been putting in the Saturdays, they've had 6-8 months of doing this now, trimming the fat, figuring out what's going to work for them and what's not. So then they can go out and use the best stuff, and hopefully it pays dividends in the end.
Yeah. But this is also why competition and having that competition in the horizon is really important, because it will sharpen you towards that. So as well as having that competition class there, so you can use that, for sharpening yourself, actually having the goal of competing makes everyone have to get better. You've got to look after your diet more. You've got to focus on your conditioning. You've got to make sure that when you come into a class, you're not just talking all the time and you're focusing on your technique. So to be fair, that's probably why I progressed the way I did, because I was constantly competing. Yeah. So there's never really times where I was coming to the gym for the sake of being there or for socials. It wasn't really what it was about for me. I came to the gym because I just wanted to compete all the time. So I was there to get better, and if I wasn't doing that, then that's not what I was about. So.
But not all the time people are competing together. Like Wayne competed on his own the other week. I think Joe's got something else coming up where he's on his own. But the sheer fact that they've got a class where people are there willing to give them that output, it helps everybody. Yeah. So if they've got a competition coming up, so you're not doing competition rounds in the class and things like this, they have still got a Saturday where they're going to go down there, and it's like, right, you're going to get some solid rounds in. You're going to have to stay super honest, because people are going to work you and give 100% against you. And I think it benefits everybody, not just this competition coming up, but any competition going forward. So Wayne wants to do another one on his own or whatever, or anyone that can just jump on that Saturday class and get that output. Like we were saying earlier with people jumping from gym to gym, probably to sharpen their own tools and then go off compete in a competition, and then you won't see them for 6 months. They'll be training back at their own gym. It's different on the Saturday because they can come down. It is going to be irregular faces down there, but it is going to be people all training with the same mentality. So even if they've not got a competition coming up, it is a competition class. So you go down there for the same reason. So you are still helping the guys that have got comps coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, competitions, I just think it's a massive tool towards getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you think should compete?
Should compete?
Like from our gym, like I know obviously some people are competing for the first time as well. So is there any people in particular
I love
you think
seeing that. I love seeing the fact that like you mentioned earlier, Lee Sketchley is signed up and he's doing it. I mean, I don't know how old Lee is. What is he, 40, 41, something like this?
Yeah,
And
he's early 40s. Yeah.
is new to jiu-jitsu, is a family man and all the rest of it. And he's like, sod it, I'm going to go and compete. I think that's amazing. Who I'd like to see compete, I always like seeing Brad compete. And he's not around, so he can't jump in on this. Who I think needs to compete is who I've said a million times and who you've said yourself is Aaron. I do think he needs to compete because he's a purple belt, he's been training a long time and he's not once competed, not at white, blue or purple. And I just think, results aside, I think it'd benefit him personally.
Yeah, we had that conversation recently.
Yeah, so I would like to see him compete. I've seen him do competition rounds and he does really well.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he doesn't, but I think it'd do him the world of good. So Aaron, I'd say.
I think it's for everyone. Like, I would never pressure anybody into competing, but I've always said to everyone, you should at least have a go once, see how you get on with it.
Yeah.
And if it's something you can do regular, it will help you no end. I mean, don't want to name names too much, but like Wayne at the minute, the competitions that he's been doing is really pushing him on towards his brown belt now.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's made everything sharper. It's just much better. Everything. His conditioning's better, and you can just see he's in the zone. Like he comes to the class and he's putting the work in the right way because he knows what it is he's trying to do. We've had a discussion after his last competition regarding what it is he should be trying to get better at, and obviously that's what he's doing. Yeah. So he's going to be plastering over all those mistakes that previous, and he should be a much better person, a much better version of himself for the next competition.
He does it in the right way as well, I think, with Wayne. Again, results aside, he'll take on what happened during that match and he'll be like, oh, look at that, I didn't do this or I didn't do that. There's no excuses. There's no if, buts and maybes. It's like, that's what happened. I don't know why I did it. Won't happen again. And I just think that's the correct way to go about it.
Yeah.
He's another one that's very good at learning.
Yeah.
And you see him picking things up real quick. Yeah. I always like seeing Wayne compete. The majority of people down here have competed though, haven't they? So.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people have at least had a dabble at it. But it'd be nice to get a few more people that are, some of the younger guys especially, like we mentioned, like your Joe Benedicts, get people like that competing regularly be really good. So I don't want to keep you too much longer, mate, because I know you've got a hot date to get to. So we'll just finish with kind of what it is I'm doing with the podcast going forward.
Okay.
So obviously we've started now. This is going to conclude episode 1. This is take 2. With the nice burgundy curtains. Yeah, and so I'd like to kind of interview more of the members. That's the first like half of kind of the goal that I have with the podcast is to find interesting people within the gym to interview about all sorts of things. So if I was to ask you who maybe your top 3, if you can think of 3, I know it's hard to think on the spot, but
what, from in the gym or
within the gym, interesting people that you think I should get on to do a podcast and ask them some
again,
questions.
I've gave Guy a lot of stick, but I think he's got a lot of good stories to tell on and off the mats, with his previous hobbies, his band life and stuff like that. It'd obviously be a really interesting one. Then you've got so many professional people, haven't you? You've got Max, who we've spoke about before, Big Max, again, military man. So he'd be amazing. I'd imagine his stories and he is a personality, isn't he? So
yeah, he's a joker.
Yeah, we might not need the camera. He's more of a radio type person, isn't he? We can have. I think Max is a good one. Wayne for that same reason.
Yeah.
Again, but then you've got some good professional people like Zoeb and Chi and people like this as well. So yeah, but Guy, Max, people like that, I think could be amazing to give an interview.
We'll have a think about it, see who's up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the second half of what I'm going to do is the Leicester's Finest that I've spoke to you about as well. Just trying to find people that were mainly born in Leicester or have at least lived in Leicester for a portion of their lives, that are doing some kind of sport professionally, and not necessarily just doing the sport. It could be coaches, even like nutritionists, sports coaches,
stuff like
that.
the idea.
Like conditioning coaches, whatever. Just getting people from Leicester and just finding what makes them tick, basically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I like to ask questions of people that have achieved something within sports, especially from a psychological point of view of what it is that gets them out of bed in the morning, and gets them to kind of excel in that area.
There's a fair old wealth of talent around Leicester as well, in combat sports and a bit further afield. Obviously, football is an obvious one.
Yeah.
You've got Selby and snooker, but in combat sports, you've got a fair old chunk of people as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting with Andre Winner. That's going to be a wicked episode to start with.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a good pal of mine, so I know he's got some wicked stories.
He has.
Obviously, ex-UFC veteran, so good place to start.
It is a good place to start.
What I'm hoping is once I get the ball rolling on it, that we'll, maybe he'll suggest some people and we'll get links as we go along. Yeah,
again, it depends which avenue you want to take. If you want to stay on the martial arts or combat sports, or go a lot further afield, but see where it takes us, eh?
Yeah, so we'll even entertain my studio.
Yeah, I like the studio. It's good.
We'll see if it's still standing for the next one.
See if that recorded.
Let's see if this even gets out there to the people.
Yeah.
So
no, that's good.
Where are you going tonight?
Bowling.
Who with?
I'm a top-notch bowler. Someone you know.
Okay. Cool. Hot date. All right, mate. I'll let you go off. Thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you for having me. Again.
I'll see if I can edit it with what limited skills I have, and then we'll go from there.
Good luck with that.